All right, who else out there is a geek for some good books or good printed resources or good personal development tools? Any of the above? Because I got it all here today for you. I am a personal self-proclaimed book and resource geek, especially when it comes to whatever will further my personal development, my professional development, or my own healing journey. So I'm all about those types of resources in my life all day, every day. Now, do I always have time to utilize them to the fullest potential when I want to? No, that's another topic for another day. Making the time you need to utilize these things. However, part of my 2022 goals is to get through some key resources for my own life. And I'm starting out with a bang this year. And I was thinking if this was a topic of interest to the rest of you, I will get back on here and come on throughout the year maybe to share what else I am discovering and finding out there in this awesome world of resources. So as we get going here, allow me to just oil up. I'm dedicated to using my oil of the year Awaken blend. I love the color of the bottle too. If you missed, oh, it smells so good. Hang on, moment for the oil. Awesome. Okay, if you missed what's up with my oil, that was a previous video where I shared all about this oil of the year thing. It's a whole theme, you guys, and a cool thing too. Really low key though, actually. A low key, easy way to kind of move the needle on yourself, your journey, your healing, wherever you are at personally. So catch that other video if you're interested in hearing more about that. But I'm dedicated also not only to reading and personally developing this year, but to using that oil like it's going out of stock. But it's not. It better not, at least. All right. The first resource book that I am dedicated to finishing this year. I actually started it last year, but I didn't get into the meat and potatoes of it until this year. And I'm sharing it with you all. It is Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Here's what it looks like. It's a little meaty. You can see the thickness, and it's very neurological, but it's great. It's great for anybody. You know, me and my background is in neuroscience nursing, specifically as a nurse, but though I love the brain and the whole neurological system and how it all integrates and works together for our good, this book is not over our heads as, you know, anyone that may not be familiar with that whole system of the body. So grab Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself if you want to hear science behind how what we think can influence how we are wired and even what goes on in our world around us. And this isn't hoo-hoo woo-woo crazy talk. This isn't like manifest your destiny. This is actual interesting thoughts about how energy does actually work scientifically at the atomic level, how our brains work, how our environment works to us, for us, or against us. All right. You have some control over those types of things. If nothing else, this will get you thinking about the design of the world around you. And let's see what he says in the back. You're not doomed by your genes and hardwired to be a certain way for the rest of your life. New science has been emerging that empowers all human beings to create the reality they choose. And he shows you how and why. So that's just a little bit from the back cover to describe the gist of the book. The tagline is how to lose your mind and create a new one. So I loved that. I'll just say it. I'm losing my mind every day, I feel like. Okay, book number 2, that is both a book and a resource in my mind. It's in other words, it's a book with information and interesting points of view and all that stuff, but it's also a resource in that it is kind of like a challenge to undertake for yourself if you want to personally grow and develop. It's almost like a mini curriculum or course. I hesitate to say that because I don't want to overwhelm people, like get you thinking like, oh my gosh, I don't have time for curriculum in my life. I got little kids or I got healing to do on my own. But I think this is a good complement to all of that. I'm not through the whole book yet, but I am far enough in to know wholeheartedly that I can recommend this for anyone that is looking to access their inner creative self in more meaningful ways to literally change their lives. It's called The Artist's Way. This is what it looks like. It is by Julia Cameron. I happen to love that her last name is my husband's name. And the tagline is, it is a spiritual path to higher creativity. I gotta say, I was a little turned off by that initially. But really, I appreciated the line across the top, which says, it's a course in discovering and recovering your creative self. That is what spoke to me about the title of this book. And it actually was recommended to me by my friend Lauren Da Silva. Shout out to her. Otherwise, I may never have stumbled across this great resource. It is not too huge. It walks you through about 12 different steps with manageable, bite-sized homework assignments that nourish and nurture yourself and also help you explore your creativity in whatever way you choose. It doesn't necessarily have to be about like paints and crayons and markers artistically. It can be about all kinds of artistic expression. And I love the exercises that this is prompting me to do. They're really beneficial. And if you are in a place, I could see how not everyone might be in a place to like really maximize this book unless you determine to. But if you were in a place where you were looking for what's next for you, or you're feeling a little like midlife crisis-y or anything like that, I would say maybe grab this, and just see if this unlocks some stuff for you that needed to resurface to fulfill you, to bring out the best in you, and to challenge you in new ways. I don't identify often as like a super creative person. Like, I'm not always artistic or doing artistic type things. But I also knew I had a very narrow-minded view of that. And if you caught my other video where I talk about this oil, also, I talk about my word of the year, which is create and creation. And all of that encompasses in my personal life, my own life, because that could obviously look different for everyone, right? But part of that for me is exploring my own creative genius and my own purpose as a creation in this world. So again, if that resonates with you, even if your word of the year isn't create, this might be a really good little study guide and resource for your year ahead. Okay, and the last resource I wanted to share with you that is what I would call mostly a resource, not as much like a book to be read, but it comes with a lot of useful reading material inside of it, is my planner this year, actually, which I am utilizing wholeheartedly, gung-ho all the way, the Priority Planner. It's the full title is the Flourishing Life Priority Planner by my friend Lauren Da Silva, who also recommended this book. Yes, I love her. And yes, she created this. She's a great creator, and that's where I get a lot of my creative inspiration from these days. But she designed this beautiful planner. You can actually pick your cover even with it, which is super cool. Like going the extra mile, right? Like, when do you always get to pick exactly what you want? But you do with her. And the cool thing is, like, you can see the size of this planner. It's not super huge. Here's why. It's actually quarterly. And I love it for that very reason, because I don't always want to carry around a big, giant, honking yearly planner anymore. I used to be about that life. I don't hate that life, but it just was getting unmanageable. To have a whole year in one planner, it was like exploding by the end of the year and falling apart and just not as user-friendly. Plus, this manageable bite-sized chunks of my year type planner gives me the opportunity to adjust as I go and use it however I see fit. I'm happy to show you more about what is inside this planner, but here's partly why I love it so very much. The whole beginning is all about reconnecting with your core values, your vision for yourself. Whoops. Bye, computer, right? There we go. Sorry about that. Your vision for yourself, your priorities and goals, and what that looks like. And it really, without being overwhelming and being like, you got to set goals and you got to have time frames and you got to have priorities and blah, blah, blah. without being like that at all. It's very helpful for me to focus in on, instead of juggling all the balls at one time, trying to prioritize day by day, week by week, month by month, where my energy is going. And I'm much more efficient, and I'm finding my time is much more freed up utilizing this. It's a time blocking type of method, at least the way I'm using it, but it can be used in so many different ways. So once you start getting into it, she does have like a monthly spread every month. And then this is the 1 week I was still waiting for it to come, so it didn't get filled out, but this is the weekly spread. And then, so, use what you want and leave the rest, or use it all, whatever. And then every day you get a page like this with your times for the whole day, your priorities listed out for the day, and she limits you to how many you should be choosing so you don't get crazy overwhelmed. You can put your to-do list right there. That's what I do. I put my priorities, and then like any extra little to-dos. There's gratitude for every day, a little box for that. And it also channels like your feelings a little bit more, your emotions around your day to day. So how would you like to look back on the day? And gets you really thinking about the tone you're setting for your life in manageable chunks. So it's a super user-friendly planner. I love, especially at the end of each week, this is what it looks like. There's a reflection page with, again, super manageable and valuable questions to look back on your week. So it's one of those things where you can totally customize how you're using it. Everything is minimal, so you fill in what you need to fill in, and you leave the rest alone, and that's why I'm loving it right now. It's so easy. It's not taking up a lot of my time to get this planner in place every day for what I need to do going forward. So highly recommend. So these are my 3 resources to recap. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, great read if you want to be a little bit challenged, but also really expand your thinking about how you influence the world around you and your own life. The Artist's Way, for if you're looking for kind of a leveling up opportunity that's super manageable and kind of written out for you step by step, and also involves a lot of fun and experimentation with you, who you are, what you like and don't like, and how you create in the world around you. You want The Artist's Way. And then if you're looking for a planner to take your life to the next level easily, you want to grab the Priority Planner, the Flourishing Life Priority Planner from Lauren De Silva. All right. If you need the links for any of these, let me know. I will try to remember to go back and drop them in the comments after this video loads. Happy Friday to you all. I hope you enjoy these resources, and I will catch you next time. Bye.